Good morning, everyone. And it is our last show for the year, so it's going to be a little crazy.
It's always
Is that what
crazy,
we say,
Tonia.
Tone?
Always. It always is crazy. I tell
It
you
is.
what, I
I've got
love
an
the hat.
excuse. It's our last
Cheers.
show. We've got a great excuse to be absolutely bonkers today. So bring it on.
Absolutely.
And can't wait to see where our conversations go to. Welcome, everyone. Tonia Reeves, Australia's Cowgirl Medium, here with the awesome Tony Kiss, owner of the Human Repair Shop in Sydney. And Tony has really busted his chops to be here because they are absolutely hammered and so flat out. And please thank Orla for allowing you to take some time out, because I know, having had a salon for many years, at this time of year is bonkers, and we appreciate it, Tony, heaps.
No, it's good. I'm glad I could make it too, actually, to be quite honest. Hey, we've got some really cool people on. We've got Tash on board, Leslie, Gabrielle, and Jen. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you guys on board. Yeah, it is a crazy time of year. Look, we've made a rule. Rachel's on board as well. Guys, I want to hear what your Christmas has been like so far, leading up to it. We've been out of the Christmas rush for 2 years, so it's going to be quite good. And look, Tonia, I'll share with you guys, basically in the clinic here, we try to slow everything down. Nothing's a problem. Although we're overbooked, we just try to keep it at a really nice tempo. If we can take a break, then we take a break. We're really going with a very Jamaican sort of feel into this Christmas period, although we are absolutely flat out, like Rachel says here, flat out 3 events on one night last night. Oh, Rach, that's huge. How did that go?
That is massive. Hey, Leslie
Thomas
and Gabrielle all got some amazing people on this morning that we haven't seen for ages, as well as our regulars, Jen and Sam. Yay, Susie. Woohoo. Karen.
It's great to see you on board.
So cool. So cool to have you guys join us for our last show for the year. It's like, woohoo, I can't believe it. Where's this year gone?
I know, it's just absolutely flown. It really has.
So how do you keep zen, Tony, at this time with the shop? Like, because people
awareness
will be
really
and going.
I think that's a really good question. And you know yourself, Tonia, when you had the hair salon, what it's like. It's really being present in the moment when you're with a client, and not to think about your next client or the next 5 after that, and just giving them 100%. And I find when you do that, then things just tend to slow right down, and then they just go, okay, I'm in the moment. This is all I can do. There's no point for me to have my head racing around at the moment. Yeah. Hey, Deb, good to see you on board. She goes, good morning. Deb. My first show I've been able to watch. Great. So, Deb, look, throw some stuff out there and tell us what's going on. What's coming up for you for Christmas? What are the feelings? What are the thoughts? What are some of the things that you want to share? What is going on? What's going on with you, Tonia? I know you do your Christmases quite early with your family. That would have been, was it last weekend or this weekend coming up?
I think not last weekend, the one before. We do it the first weekend in December, so that way we all get to be quite chilled before the crazy time happens. So so that's pretty cool. So we're going to head away, I believe, on Monday, all going well. And so we'll be away sort of come Christmas Day, but all the kids have got their stuff to do, and they really appreciate it because they get to go and see all the other side of the family on Christmas Day without having to race and see us as well. So it works in good.
Tonia, tell me about it. Look, I just spoke to my cousin who's up in Queensland. He's come down to Sydney, and he said with a very heavy voice and a very heavy heart, I go, are you looking forward to Christmas? He goes, no, it's going to be crap. They have to, between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, go to 4 to 5 different family homes.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh, man. He goes, that to me is just so. I love what you guys do, where you do it a couple of weeks earlier and everybody gets to hang out. I wonder what it's like. Yeah, Susie says here, good to hear from you, Susie. It pays to be a little less popular, Susie.
I love it. Susie, I'm the same. It's just family. Once they're done, it's like we're done and dusted.
Yeah, absolutely. She goes, she's not that busy.
Circle is small.
She's doing a little bit of jewelry, building jewelry for the markets on Sunday. Oh, you'll kill it, Susie. You'll absolutely. How exciting. I think you'll do really well. I mean, like, it's that festive time. Everybody's in the mood for buying something. I think you'll do really well.
Susie, also just a question on that. Do you connect and create a little story with your jewellery? Because I think that would be incredible, the fact that you're so talented and intuitive. A little story with each bit of jewellery would be pretty cool, like even a line or a message.
Yeah, like buy one, buy one, buy two for the same price, something like that. Hey, Gilly's on board as well. Good to have you on board,
Yay.
Gilly.
Hey, Gilly, over in the US. Hey, Gilly,
Yep.
I want to come to America next year. I was really feeling the American vibe.
Oh, really? Yeah, you were supposed to go over there. You were supposed to do some gigs and COVID
Yeah.
closed you out, which would have been great. Look, is that still going to be on the cards for you, or?
I think Canada's been on hold at the minute. England's definitely a go ahead come May. So we'll
Fantastic.
probably, we'll be, but that'll be a couple of weeks. So it's sort of fitting that in between MBSs and other things. So next year's shaping up to be pretty crazy. But yeah, I just had this.
Nice.
I'm like, I need the US. I feel the US is calling. So I might have to stick that in somewhere.
Even Gilly says here, she goes, oh goodness, I shared your book with a dear friend the other day. You must have felt me. Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, Gilly. Yeah, it's a great book, isn't it? It's a good little share and an insight. And that's really cool that you passed it on. Jen says back up there, she goes, oh, this one sounds always heavy, Jen. Where she goes, out last Friday night with hubby's work, drank too much, as we do. Absolutely. The music started and the feet started tapping. My body has let me know that alcohol stops legs hurting, but it won't wear off. And not as much fun, still recovering. Yeah, it's harder to recover these days, isn't it, Jen? But it sounds like you had a cracking night, which is absolutely brilliant. So happy to hear that.
I love it. Gilly, we'll have to connect. I'll just, I'm just going to say to Andrew, we need to get over there and go and visit Gilly. I want to get a motorhome and just travel around over there and check it all out.
I think you and Andrew would love that. Yeah, that's really cool. And she goes, go to Northern California. She goes, I have a bunch of pendulums. I've been crafting during my leg break, and I want to get you about 50 of them. Wow, that's really cool. That's quite nice.
Absolutely. Gilly, we could do a tour together, and we'll have your pendulums and your jewelry and all your talented creative stuff, because you need to have things there to sell, and that would be awesome. Yeah.
Tony Ann says she loves the US as well. Absolutely loves it. So that's pretty cool.
And I love Tony Ann's comment. I judge them, but I love them.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Imagine what they think of us. They must go, oh my God, those bloody Australians, they talk weird.
You know what I do love about the Americans? The Americans really celebrate victories really well. On a real positive note, like Gilly, I think the biggest difference that Australians and Americans have, we have this thing called tall poppy syndrome that we're known for, that will cut somebody down in their path to glory and their victories and whatnot. But I had a friend of mine who went over, did the a marathon. I think it was the Boston Marathon they did, or the New York one, I'm not too sure. But she wore her medal the next day or two, and people would come up to her and go, oh my God, you did the marathon. This is in New York. That's amazing. You're such a star and everything like that. Whereas here in Australia, you'd be told to take it off and stop being a tosser, which is, I really like that about the Americans. They have a beautiful way of celebrating life for what it's worth. So it is nice. And for us Aussies, I think we thought it was a bit over the top, but once we really look at the essence of it, I love it. Really love it. Geordie James is on board as well. Always good to see you, Geordie.
Absolutely. Hey, Geordie. We were just like, oops, awkward pause. No.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often. We're just making the most of it, Tony. We just breathe. I love it. So Susie's putting here, Julie with intention, Tonia. Tony Ann told me she points to a heart ring out to send love and points to it in to receive love. Tony Ann's incredible. We love her. I have created a spaceship series, which is a story of the calling, the arrival, and then the landing. I love it. I love it, Susie, because we all love a story, and I know for myself, like whether it's a piece of artwork or something that I'm drawn to, it's extra special when you read this story and go, oh, that resonates with me. And I think, for me, if I was to be a creator and creating things, I want something to link people in, because that's a great point of difference to a lot of people that just are selling their creations. If there's a story behind it, it's like, oh, there's power there. And that's something that you can just take a couple of minutes to do. But if somebody was to look at jewelry and go, oh, there's the story. Wow, I resonate with that. I have to have it.
Yeah, it's amazing how we connect to that story, isn't it? And all of that piece of jewelry symbolizes that story in a really nice way. It is super cool, Whenever I remember my dad had a watch that he gave to me, and the story behind the watch was Dad was a pretty good card player. He wouldn't gamble, but he'd always, if he ever went out like for a poker night with all the boys, he'd always come home with a whole lot of money. And what happened was because they didn't have Netflix back in those days. They had to actually connect and play games. And Dad, I remember once he was playing poker and this guy takes off his gold watch and he goes, I'm just going to throw this into the pit. And Dad's going, are you serious? And because Dad could count cards. That's what Dad did. He could count cards. Yeah, it was pretty good like that. And he went, oh, okay then. So Dad won this watch off the guy. And he says, are you sure? And he goes, yeah. And he had it all priced up and it was worth a fortune. and Dad gave that on to me. So the story behind that was, Dad played the game, got a little bit lucky and handed over a watch. So the watch has a story behind it now. So there's meaning to it, which is pretty cool. And I think that's what's really cool. Like I like what Susie's doing. I like how she's got the spaceship series. I think it's very, very cool.
That is absolutely. And, and sometimes it's about just putting that words to that because you're then linking, you've got the visual of the jewelry, but there's, words or, it just captures a different essence for some people that are very much like, I love reading, I love words. So for me, that would anchor me really big time. Besides the fact that visually, I can imagine your jewelry would be amazing anyway. But to me, that the words I have to have that. I love words. So, we're all different, but yeah, I think that it would broaden and again, make it unique. So I think we're all digging deep this year about really connecting to that uniqueness that is ourselves. And, and I think that's really powerful. Gilly makes jewelry too. She's an incredible artist. So I love it. We've got quite a number of creatives here and so is Tony Ann. She creates some amazing things as well. So yay. Yeah. And here we go. Susie, share your link. Great. Gilly, share your link here. We love to support others throughout this community, as we all know. Feel free to share your links. Nick's amazing. He's got some amazing products. Nick, share your link. So for all of you that, small business, I think we've all come to realize is the backbone of here in Australia and throughout the world. I think if we can support small business, that makes everyone happy.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. It's all about supporting the community and people in it. And Anita says it nicely. She goes, what a beautiful morning to be listening to you all, to be part of such an awesome tribe. It is cool, isn't it, Anita? Nick's on board. Cool. So Tony Ann's got some Susie's pieces, so that's really cool. Guys, hey, Gay, thanks so much too, by the way. You've sent me some great links for Bali holidays. I really, really appreciate that. The one, the plunge pools, really got my interest. Gay, and I can't believe how cheap they are. So thank you for being such an awesome person. Really appreciate that.
Susie's unlinked.
Yeah.
Share your website otherwise, Susie, if you've got one.
Yeah. Look, we're all popping up. Yeah, can I pop a link onto my calendars? I don't know. Yeah, you can. Of course you can. Rachel, you can pop whatever.
Yeah, Rachel, please do. Rachel's calendars are amazing. Yeah, and I love Rachel. Have you done your puzzles? Rachel had some amazing puzzles I gave to the kids for Christmas a couple of years ago now. She actually had her photography of the horses as in pieces of puzzle pieces. It was great. But even her calendar, amazing. So great presents.
Nick's got his website up there. Really cool.
Computer's not liking me multitasking. I know, Geordie. They're meant to be helpful, but they're not.
Yep, I know. I like what Tony Ann's got here where she goes, this is the bit that Susie made for Tony Ann, which is really nice. This is really cool. Susie made me a piece of my mum's influence, sorry. She said she came through clearly. Remembered a while back, I told you my dead mother always brings me a gift for birthdays and Christmas. Susie was the human she partnered with this year. So that is so, I like that. That would, Tony Ann, that would be really emotional, but what a really beautiful connection for you to have with your mum. And Susie was able to bring that through. That's cool. Is that what Susie does?
Yeah, because Susie's often, contributed on this feed when we've been talking about mediumship and connecting to loved ones, and she's always got great insight. So I think, Susie, you need a link because I think everyone's responding here going, how do we get hold of your jewelry? I think that may be a sign for you to get something up so that people can connect for you.
What a nice way to connect. I really love that Tony, and thanks for that share. That's really cool. Jen's got an interesting one. Do you want to read that one just underneath Tony Ann's one? Where she goes, hubby's dad. Yep.
Hubby's dad has sent over 6 frames drawings that he believes his great-grandfather drew. Oh, we're going to find out the history behind them. They have a date of 1801 on them, and by the look are still in the original frames. Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Yep.
That's going to be exciting.
That is exciting because then she'll find out the story behind them and it'll have more meaning. And yeah, you'll have to dig a little bit deep on that one. That's going to be cool. Avichka's on board. G'day, Avichka. How are you? Good to have you on board.
Yeah, Avichka. Awesome. Very awesome. Oh, good. Rachel shared her equine calendars and jigsaw puzzles. The jigsaw puzzles are so cool. They're so unique. Great present for the kids. Like, really, they love them.
Yeah. Susie comes back to say, in regards to Tony Ann's bit of jewelry that she got off Susie, she goes, yeah, very true. She reminded me of her name while we worked. And then I like this bit here.
Pride through them. Oh, that's so beautiful. See, that's the emotion. That's the rawness of spirit coming through. Yep. I love that. It's so beautiful.
Susie, is that what you do? Do you connect to people that have passed it and then craft a bit of jewelry from that? Is that, because if you do that is just absolutely mind-blowing. That was, I could see a lot of people wanting to have that in their lives.
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to see that's bringing back that uniqueness and really connecting in. I think this year's been a real deep dive into what puts all the bits of the puzzle that we have within, putting it together ready for next year. And I have utilized your info, Tony Ann, to, with giving messages about next year being about self. So I really appreciated you sharing that. A couple of shows ago, Tony Ann shared about next year being about self. And I'm like, that makes sense, because it really was a connection this year of, doing the deep healing, doing the deep dive into what makes us tick and, what we can work on and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's true, Tonya. I did the same, actually. It was quite funny. I've been telling everybody that next year's the year of self. I think a lot of us on this feed, especially who are readers, or have a gift with it in a spiritual realm, I think you're going to get really, really busy, because in that discovery of self, this is where people are going to use the tools that you guys have to tap in on who am I, what's my real purpose, what are some answers I'm really looking for, or what guidance have I got that I can't really hear at the moment. So I think it'll be really busy for a lot of you guys there. It'll be quite amazing.
I also love just bringing up Leslie's story. I've got Leslie's book, Finding Fabulous Over 60. Unbelievable. Really very inspirational, and so many light bulb moments for me reading Leslie's book. So I highly recommend.
What's it about?
It's about Leslie's story, and it is, I'm not going to, you really need to read the book, but her story is inspirational, and there were so many things in it that I could align with, and it's about, overcoming life's hurdles, and Leslie's had some doozies. She really has, and I just think it's an incredible read for anyone that really wants to, I suppose, get inspired by somebody. Leslie's amazing.
I like the title of it, Leslie. It's very cool. Finding Fabulous Over 60. It is, wow. It's just something that's great. Leslie, where does she live? Is she in New South Wales, Victoria?
Leslie's down here in Victoria, I believe. Still in Victoria, Leslie? I know there was talks of heading up to her son in Queensland, but yeah. So, but yeah, no, I love
Melbourne.
Still in Melbourne, yeah.
Melbourne.
And I love being inspired by others. And I think when you could read a story that you can really resonate with, is, that makes a big, big difference. So yeah, it's great. I highly recommend.
Yep. Susie just quickly goes, she goes, oh, that was a special gift for Tonya to connect in there. She doesn't normally do the jewelry, but yeah,
Tony,
look, yeah. But that's really cool. That's cool. Hey, Leslie, I'd be interested if you ever come up into Sydney, let us know. Leslie, do you do workshops or chats about your book at all? Because I think that would be, if there's some really good life lessons in there, especially, Finding Fabulous Over 60.
Yes.
Look,
she would be amazing, Tony. Your crew would love her. Great speaker, very authentic. Yes, I think Leslie needs to get to Sydney, definitely.
Yeah, if you ever want to, Leslie, definitely drop us a line. We do workshops up in the clinic, and we at maximum we take is 20 to 24. So it's a really intimate space. It's quite nice, where you can have some really good quality chats and really, inspire some people who are in that category, which will be really cool. But yeah, reach out whenever you want. It sounds fascinating.
Yeah, brilliant. I love Gabrielle. I'm starting early. Self-started this week.
Well done.
I
Well
love
done.
it.
I like it.
Get in practice. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah.
That'll
And
be good, Leslie.
that's
Yeah.
about saying
Yep.
yes to. Yeah, you need to get your calendar out for next year, Leslie. Plan a few. Well, I'll be up in Sydney, Tony, again in May. So
Oh,
yeah,
good.
we'll
Okay. Can we book a gig for you then?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you
I'd
let me
love
know
to.
the dates, because people have been asking about you and asking when you're coming back.
Yeah,
So that
definitely.
would
I'll
be
be
really
up.
good. That it was an absolute hit, and yeah, that'll be nice.
I had a ball. Had a ball. You facilitate such a great the whole shop there is incredible, and I use that as our cover photo. Me standing out the front of the
Yeah.
because somebody took a photo of the two of us standing out the front, but I haven't got that photo, Tony. I need that photo.
I'll have to get it. Okay,
Yeah,
I've
I'm
got it
sure that
somewhere.
was your camera because I
It was
haven't got
mine
it,
or
and Andrew
Hannah's.
hasn't got it on his.
Yeah.
So I need that, and that can be our cover photo because it's such a great
Sounds good.
banner.
Yeah, it is pretty cool, but it is good. So let's have a look. So we've got some really good things.
Anita's got a great share here. This year's definitely been my year for healing, and I'm grateful for the universe for gifting me the challenge and space to be able to do this. And that's a really big one. Is sometimes we forget to be, grateful for the opportunity to do that because we kind of at the time, self healing is not easy and it's frustrating and it can be, something that we kind of get triggered by, but to actually be able to be grateful for the opportunities are really a big one. So that's a great share, Anita, and cheers to 2023 year of self and for my gifts to blossom. I love it.
Yeah, nice.
I love
That's
it.
really nice. Yep.
Love it. And Deb's got another one here. This has been a year of rest. Finishing work in May, I underestimated how exhausted I was. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
And sometimes until we stop and breathe, it's that allowing ourselves to have the space to rest is something that we as humans do not really do easily because we're programmed often to go, we justify our existence by what we do. How often do we find that? Oh,
Yeah,
you have a
100%.
conversation. What do you do? Well, wouldn't it be great to go, nothing. I did nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I just breathe.
Yeah.
But I think we all need to have that, like to, and it's like a reset.
It is a little reset. Yeah, Deb, for you, it really sounds like, you underestimated how exhausted you were. One of the things, Deb, is basically, as we all know, is when you're throwing yourself into work or whatever the project may be, you're running off a lot of adrenaline. You really are. So it's going to keep on feeding you energy. And as long as you keep on demanding it, we'll give it to you until you hit absolute exhaustion and you can't function anymore. Or the other thing, what happens is what you're finding out, Deb, is when you start to slow down, that's when you start to realize the body doesn't start producing all the adrenaline because it doesn't need it. And you just go, oh, man, I'm actually quite exhausted. I didn't know I was this tired. So it's a really interesting realization that you have there, Deb. I think it's quite nice. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, incredible. Like and it has been a reflective year. Even Avichka shared that. Like it's feeling very reflective of the year and how much has changed huge within me and my connection to the little ones and our hubby and it gives so much inner work and I'm proud of where I am, which is so good. I think we need to be proud of where we're at because, for some of us it's leaps, for some of it's small steps. Sometimes it's 3 back, 1, 3 forward, 1 back. We're all different. And I think it's really important to sometimes take the time to acknowledge how far we've come, within that year. It might be just that you've made 2 big shifts or 1 big shift even on something or had that realization. And, that's pretty cool, really. And we tend to underestimate what we get out of things.
Yeah, exactly. And Avichka, can I just say on a personal note, and Tonia, you followed this journey as well. Avichka's had so many highs and lows this year, but really worked on herself a lot this year. You've had some really interesting challenges, Avichka, and I just want to acknowledge that and say, you know what you've achieved this year, you should be, I can understand why you should be really proud of yourself. Like, I just want to validate that and say, yeah, absolutely. I'll be right. The phone's ringing. I'm going to quickly grab this. You guys keep on chatting.
Yeah, we can do that. So it's been a really profound year, and I love all these shares coming up, Sam. Looking forward to next year. The past few years have been rough, but you've done the work, and I think for many of us, this year has been about doing the work. And for those that have risen to that challenge, and it is challenging, by God, it's not easy to go, oh, I'm just going to do some inner work. Here I'm over in the corner, catatonic. So I think that's a really big one. And Geordie's put here too. Another one this year for me has been full of lessons and understanding where I am in my work, really understanding who I am in my gifts. I can't wait for 2023. And, look, I think it's a real powerful one to have that realization that we're all a work in progress. We're all a bit of ultimately each year brings us challenges, and next year we'll no doubt we'll be talking the end of next year about certain challenges, but it's how we look at them and what we gain from them. And I think there's so much to be gained through hardship, as much as we hate it and it's horrible and it doesn't make it easy. But sometimes we're brought to a standstill, or we have things that happen to us or around us that really create the opportunity to make the changes that we need. And really, it's one thing I've learned in life is the universe will respond with what we need, and whether we like it or not. And hell, there's some shit lessons out there that we, can look back on and go, I don't need that. I didn't need that at that time. But you know what? Like, we get what we need. And I think sometimes the more that we come to terms with that and be a little bit at peace with it, that the easier it is moving forward. So even if you've had a challenging year and you still feel like you're battling a bit, be kind to yourself. And a bit like Deb shared, I think it's important sometimes just to stop and, absolutely get off that train of having to be doing all the time. And, honestly, that's sometimes when the best things come around, is when we stop and just take a moment to breathe and listen. And that's when the opportunities present themselves. So, I think for many of us, this year's been about, like, let's get rid of, like, if we don't make the changes and let go of what doesn't serve us, then we can't bring in what does. And, and saying yes to opportunities, like, it's incredible. Like even Leslie, you've got a connection to go to Sydney now, so they're just having that conversation with people and looking at the opportunities as opportunities, and not worrying about how we're going to achieve them, but just going, you know what, that feels right, I'm going to do it. And I like Avichka's one here. And hey, Emma, haven't caught up for ages. Life is a dance like the cha-cha, a few steps forward and a few steps back. Just keep moving. I love it. That's so true. That's so true. And Geordie, yes, for sure. And abundance is a bit of a challenge at this time of year too. Yeah, absolutely. Gabriel, yep, thanks, universe. I know sometimes we could kill the universe. We could wring its neck a little bit. But, hey, at the end we can. I always say there's hindsight. So no matter how much crap you're going through, there will be a point where you will look back and have an understanding of it. So if we keep that in mind when we're going through the heavy lifting, which, hey, it is heavy lifting. It's not easy. I don't mean to trivialize, going through crap, because we all go through crap, and it doesn't necessarily equate to being an easy journey to do all that inner work. But, the hindsight from it is, hey, look at what I've let go of, and look what's come into my life. So, Nick's got a great share here too. The more I sit with me, the more I listen to my mind and body and soul, allowing myself to heal in my grief of losing my mum, my sister, and my dog, knowing I have to allow myself to heal spiritually and physically on an emotional level to regain my strength to move forward. And that's a beautiful realization, Nick, that through all that grief and loss, and man, that's a lot of grief and loss, that, we need to be able to have that time to heal. And I think this is a great message, because for many of us, we don't allow ourselves to have that healing, aspect. If you need to get it, Tony, we understand. Everyone here is supporting you. But yeah, so Leslie's got a share here too. It's been the toughest year ever for me, incredibly stressful and overwhelming. Often just wanted to dig a hole and jump in. Many will relate, Leslie, many.
Yeah.
However, I can see and I can walk and I have a beautiful relationship with family and friends. So really, I have the best and most important things. And they're the things that we sometimes take for granted.
Yep. Absolutely. We
You
really
know?
do.
So
It's going to be. I'm sorry to hear that one for Leslie. That's having a stressful and overwhelming year. It's never easy. We do get through it one way or another, but it's not a nice thing to get through. And yeah, a lot of people are saying, yeah, let's bring on 2023 with a bit more optimism and hoping that things will settle down a little bit. So yeah, we can only hope. We can only hope. Sam's back at work. Thanks, Sam.
yeah, thanks for joining us, Sam. We love to have you on board. We know that you have to work there as well. A bitch has got here. Annika had her end of year dance concert. It was such an experience. I cried with pride at how amazing they all were. Oh, I love watching kids dance. It was at a real theatre on a big stage, so it was very wow, very inspiring.
Yeah.
How incredible was that at 4 to get up on a big stage?
I know, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think it's great. I can see why you're being so proud there.
That is incredible. Look, it's, we're coming up to the end of the year. Jen's sharing here also Mercury in retrograde at the moment. Breathe, sit with it and take a new path if one isn't on your if the one you're on isn't working, less stress, more joy and happiness. Yeah, I agree. I think 2023 to me feels quite, I don't know, I feel like it's that there's breakthroughs to happen. Like for those that have done the work, I really feel like the rewards are happening next year. And for most of you, as you're sharing, you have done that digging deep and that realization. So I think most people, 90% of people have done that. And that's when 2023 will come just that little bit smoother. But I like Anita's throwing it out here, Tony. Retreat.
Yep. Absolutely. That'll be great. Look, we can set up for a really good 2023, Anita. I know
We've got a great venue in Sydney.
Yeah, absolutely. What do we got? Emma goes, I can't wait to see what's behind the 2023 door. Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting. And I think it's really important is to, with what you said before, Tonia, everybody's put in a lot of hard yards this year with themselves and with family and friends and that, and really try to work out the nuts and bolts behind it. And I think next year is going to be one of those ones where if we plan correctly and just start to put some intention out there, go, you know what, I've done all this work. I want to sort of do this now. I want to, support in this area or do this with myself or have a career change. I agree with you, Tonia. I think it's the time to do it, but you've got to really, I think next year's going to be, you've got to action it. You can't just sit there and hope that it's going to come your way. I think it's something you'll have to go out and reach, but it will be there for you. Do you reckon that's going to happen a lot?
I think so, but I also feel that, one of the life's lessons that I've learned is what's meant to be will always find a way. So yes, like you said, Tony, you want to step up and you have to say yes to opportunities because you can't just sit back and go, oh, is life going to, just hand me all these things, because that's not necessarily the case. But I do feel that, and I see a lot of people that have in their head a picture of where they want to be and they try really hard, or they have this big, I want to be, it might be, say, chasing fame or chasing, sometimes an unrealistic goal that if it's in your stars, it will happen. And sometimes letting go of that. And it's not that, still do the work and still, connect to your own visions that you have, but allow the universe to deliver it how it's meant to be done, rather than how we, as humans, we want to micromanage everything. And that's when it pushes things away. And I think, I know for me, a big one this year was surrendering to what was to come. And that's when the breakthroughs have happened. So I do feel sometimes we need to take that step back and go, and also delve deep in. I just did an article for Holistic Bliss this week, and that'll be out, I think, in the next couple of weeks. Finding your joy, find your joy. And this is about really digging deep and really questioning, is what you're doing now or what you think you want to be doing, is that where the joy is? Or are you doing it because you feel like that's your next step, or you've got to prove things to somebody, or you're following the old story, which can be from generations before? Finding that joy is really paramount to our individual happiness, and that should be not connected to any external people or things or whatever, but finding what lights us up. So where is the fun? And when we find that fun, that's when life flows easier, because we're connecting to what our soul is getting joy from. And for the most part, we can spend most of our life unraveling what that is. But I think if we sit in that feeling and go, do I feel joy here? Okay, yes, that's a sign that that's where that's where I am, and that's where I'm heading. And also, and that's what I shared with the article, we can bring joy. So if you're at a job that you don't really like, bring joy to it.
Yeah.
Without, like, we can bring in the cake and food for those in our workplace. And even though, if we look at it and go, I don't expect anything, not even acknowledgement, but I am going to genuinely give and bring joy without any expectations or expecting it in return, we're then bringing something to the table that creates that energetically, that joy for us. So then what happens is we do that at our current workplace, say, and we don't really like it there, but by bringing in joy, we're going to attract a new opportunity for work.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, totally agree. That Nick goes, going back to what makes you happy. Rachel's on board with that as well. I really like that. Even Jen says, 2022 for her was taking a new direction, working ourselves 23 threes, the rewards starting to roll in and continue to help others. Yeah, that's a really nice realization too, Jen. I like that. You've done a lot of good work as well on yourself. We know that. And you really, I think 2023 is going to be really good. Gay wants for a quick sale of our home and find the perfect place for our new beginning. Yep, that would be nice. Hopefully you do get a quick sale. Don't know how the real estate market is around where Gay is, but
yeah, I reckon you will, Gay. It's a fairly unique property. But also with that, I would say not necessarily a quick sale. You want the ideal timing of sale. So sometimes when we go, I want a quick sale, we put it out there, then all of a sudden you're scrambling to find the next step, So sometimes wording is important. So I would say the sale of our property at the perfect time, ready for our next place.
Yeah, nice way of looking at it. Actually, it's a really powerful one there.
Because we think we want everything yesterday. I get it. Once you've decided to get out, I'm with you, Gay. Let's move on.
I like Susie's. I would like retrospect. Yes, Susie, we would all like that. When I'm traveling through where I don't want to be, I try to be a time traveler. Look, this is a good exercise. I like it actually, Susie. This is pretty clever. And the rest, find my safe place in knowing that it will feel different in times. Still learning to rest in all of the feeling of the happiness, learning to welcome all the parts and part of me. It is. It's exactly what Tonia's talking about, is finding that joy and making that joy happen.
And it's not saying it's easy. It's not saying just, let's just connect to joy. But there's, our body never lies. So what lights us up, and if you're not sure what that is, ask the people you spend the most time with. Go, I'm not sure on my direction or what I should be doing or what I'm feeling. And guaranteed those close to you will go, well, you're really good at this. Oh, you really love that. Or I see you having fun doing that. And sometimes it'll be, oh, I've never thought of that. And that's where the new direction. And, and I think as humans, another part of our journey is about learning. I think we all love to learn and, gain knowledge. So to me, if you're in that space of having that break and having that time out to look around and see what you'd like to learn, it doesn't mean you have to do it as a job, but just, it gives us different aspects of ourselves. And I say it's like our toolkit for the soul is, gaining all that knowledge and enjoying learning new things.
Yep.
And I bring joy to this editing I'm doing. Yes, Rachel, bring joy. Thankful for all the opportunities. I love it. Tasha's got a great share here. I've started working on myself this year. I've lost 14 kilos in the last 9 months, which is a huge hurdle for me. I'm going to keep working towards losing more weight. Good on you, Tash. Keep working towards being healthy.
I love it, Tash. Can I just say it's an amazing achievement, losing 14 kilos over 9 months. That is absolutely brilliant, Tash. I'm so happy for you. You must be proud of yourself. It's so many people go out and they lose a few kilos and they put it back on, but you've able to do really well. And it's a good sustainable way that you've done it. You haven't like quickly lost weight. It's over 9 months and you've done so well. I'm really, you should be chuffed. That's a great one. You've had a great year, Tash. You've had some really low lows as well, we know, with your family and whatnot, but having the relationship, it just feels like you've lost some weight. You know what I like about Tash's story here, Tonia, is as emotionally difficult that it was for her. Go away, phone. As emotionally difficult as it was. Hold on. Hello, Tony speaking. Yes.
I love this. We can all relate to being at work. And I love Avichka. I'm so grateful for the TNT family. You are all amazing. Yeah, and we are too. You know, you guys light up our Thursday, and it really sets the pace for us to have an amazing Thursday. Just connecting with you all and all your shares and opening up, and I know the feedback we've had from many has always been massive when, we open up and share our experiences. And most of you do that so well, I have to say. You do the heavy lifting for us, and we are very grateful. But good on you, Tash. That's inspirational. And see, when you do that inner work, that's what happens. See, weight is often protection. And, I'm a big advocate for Louise Hay. And she would always say when she put on weight, it was like that bit of protection that, the weight, it gives us that so that we, feel safe. And so often working on feeling safe if you want to lose weight is starting to feel safe within. And I know, Tash, you've done some amazing work this year to do that. So well done. That's so cool. The thing is, I'm not doing anything different. Yeah, you're more happy within yourself. Absolutely. And that is what it is. It's not about, weight loss is about focusing on what makes us happy, and the rest takes care of itself. So when we're filled up within, like when we do what we're happy, and again, go back to when we're living joy, we don't need to feed our bodies with extra food. And, I'm guilty of it. I'm always like up, down, but it's about being healthy too. And we're not all meant to be, tiny or what the social media or the aspects of how we're meant to look. We're not. We're all designed differently. But I think if we look at being the healthiest version, that's the important part. And like Tash has shared, that's really important. It's not about restriction or feeling like you have to diet. It's about being happy within. And when you're happy within yourself, then all of a sudden the weight drops away, because, food is just feeding we're just giving ourselves that extra kick with food. And if you're getting it through life, you're not going to be looking at food to give that to you. So what great share, Tash. Well done. Jen's got a good one here for you, Tony. I waited for you.
Multitasking. Yeah. I can't multitask. That's the problem.
You can. You've just shown us how good it works. We love it.
No, my apologies for that. That's just one of those things. Go on.
We are all in awe going, look at Tony. He's, got so many hats on, and we understand, because for the most part, most of us here are in business, so we get it.
Yeah, it's just a crazy time of the year. That's all it is. That's okay. I like Jen's got here. We have an access saying that I have.
Yeah, that's a good one. Share that one. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. I live my life with joy, ease, and glory. Having positive affirmations opens up a whole new way of being. Yeah, look, you're a big fan of positive affirmations as well, Tonya, aren't you? Yeah.
Look, I love it. I remember when I did my training with Lisa Williams, and she actually came over and I got to do her hair. Now, she was somebody that I've, had always have and still do hold in high regard. And when she came over, we were doing training with her then. So it was advanced mediumship. And I had, because I was staying with 3 other girls, and I'd met the 3 girls doing Louise Hay. So we all had that in common. So I'd printed off all our affirmations saying, mediumship is easy. We're amazing mediums, all these. So I just stuck them. We hired a house to stay in. And I just stuck them up on the cupboards in the bathroom, and, and the girls were so grateful. They were like, oh, thank you. How thoughtful. And I said, oh, well, that's how I live. I have my affirmations around all the time. And especially in an environment where you're learning and you're under, we were going to be tested for the whole week, like reading for other mediums and doing assessment with people. And there was so much pressure that we needed that extra, the extra affirmations there to say, this is how it is. And I'm with Jen, 100% does that make a difference. And to me, get on the computer, write out your affirmations, print them off, cut them out, bit of blue tack, done. It's not hard, doesn't cost you anything, really, a bit of printing paper. And I say to anyone, if you haven't tried it, give it a go. Put them on bold so that you can, they stand out. Put them on bold, stick them around wherever you like, and watch life unfold and watch life work for you. It's massive and not hard to do.
Because vision boards are another thing that you actually like, and it sort of goes in that line as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And, for the most part, you don't notice them. Like they become invisible, but you got to remember we're connecting to that subconscious area of the brain that, that constantly connects to those words. And so that's where the power is. And, I will always do that to bring forward what it is. If I'm stepping into something new or want to manifest something, then I write it as if it's already happened and stick it up there. And I always put, sometimes when I want to manifest future things, I always put for my highest good. So that way, if it's not the time for that to happen, I'm at peace with it. Might take a couple of years for that to transpire.
Yeah, wow. That's a lot of patience there.
Well, it is. Well, I think we have to, because if you try and push something, like you might be like, this is what I want, and I'm going to push for that. If it's not the right time, you might manifest it to happen, but, there won't be the opportunities and there won't be the flow to it as if you'd let the universe deliver it at the right time. So time frames, as most of us on here know, even in the spirit world, there's no such thing as a timeline. And you look at it, we are geared to be instant. Everything now is, we're impatient, has to happen yesterday. Everything we do is like, well, I can't wait. And I think that's a big part of the shift that's happening right now, is we're starting to learn that those that sit back and take time, the right thing comes at the perfect opportunity. And that's gold, because I feel like we've been geared and pushed towards, it has to happen yesterday. Oh, if I want something, I go out and get it today. I don't wait. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, Tony, wouldn't you agree? You go, oh, I want something. I'd either save for it or, you just had a different mindset.
Different mindset. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
But we've been geared, and that's what we've got to remember is, computers, all those stimuli that are around us have geared us towards the instant hit. So when we become aware of that and go, I'm not going to feed into it, I'm just going to sit there and identify that, I want it yesterday, but hang on a minute, that's not always my trajectory. And I'm being, we're being manipulated with that, is what I feel. So I think when you're aware of it, we can then sit back and go, it'll come at the perfect time.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what Avichka's got up here. She goes, letting go of the timeline with trying to start my business from home. Exciting news. I've been recommended for an opportunity as a reader at the local crystal hippie shop, trusting I will find a way to share my gifts when I let go of the when, where, and why. Yeah, that's exciting. Congratulations, Avichka. That's really good news. That's very exciting, isn't it?
That is, absolutely. And this is what happens. And I know Jen's had the same thing happen for her. Things aligned, and she's connected with a lady with the shop. So, sometimes the way we visualize things, and it's not to say, Avichka, there's a time that you will be working from home, but maybe right now, to find your feet and get where you need to be, it's going to that place to be able to do it. And there's a lot of power in that. That's how I started. And I love that, because you could go somewhere and be that person and then come home and be mum and the rest of it. So there's certainly, there's certainly benefits from that. And again, that's trusting.
Yep. I like it. I like Tony Ann's one here. Yeah, I was just reading that. She goes, I have the words, I'm enough on the back door of the toilet. I think that's really cool, because Tony, and I think we're always guessing on about you, Tony. Go, am I good enough? Because that's the opposite to that. And there's always that self-doubt. And I go, you know what? I am enough. And I really like that, Tony. And that's a really good one to have. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Another really powerful one that I used to, when I first did Louise Hay, I thought, what a stupid affirmation, but I get it now, is I am safe.
Oh,
That's
okay.
another, that's another, there's a lot of power in I am safe. And
Yep.
I remember, like I said, when I first read that, I thought, that's a stupid affirmation. Who would need that?
Yeah.
When you do the work more, you go, that's important as well. We need to feel safe.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And then Jen's got another one. Another one is, how does it get better than that or this? Doesn't need an answer, and it can be when things are going well or at the other end of the scale. How does it get better than this? Great question. I like it.
Absolutely.
Okay, Vichka's got here. I want to share this one because this is, for many of us will relate to this. And like Geordie shared before the test reads are crazy. I'll be doing a test reading for the new owner. Funny thing is, years ago, I said to the previous owner I'd be working there one day, and she gave me a funny look, but she's gone now, so let's see what happens. So Vichka, it's surrendering to this process, and test reads for somebody that's the most daunting because you put yourself under pressure. And if I can give you some advice, do not wait for a response. Just give her what you get.
Yep, that's a good idea. That's great suggestion.
Yeah, because sometimes when we're in that, oh my God, I've got to make an impression, and you've got the gift, and Spirit will never let you down. You will be perfect at reading for her. But sometimes when there's that little bit of pressure, something that I bear in mind is not to necessarily wait for a confirmation. Just give what you get. Because, sometimes that response of, it can be like, oh, my God, they don't relate to what I'm saying. It can shift you and get you in your head when you're under pressure.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. It's really good advice, that. Vichka, good luck with it. As Tonia's saying, go with the flow. Just realize that you're being guided the right way. Don't overthink it. Is that what you're saying, Tonia? Don't overthink it.
Don't get in your head. And because we do as humans, and that's normal when we're under pressure. It was like the same when, and Geordie's done that as well with training. When you go and do training, you've got to, you get tested, and that's by your peers that say, okay, give me a reading. It's like, oh my God, so much pressure. And you just put that aside and trust Spirit to, bring you, because Spirit will never let you down. And if you get attached to the person that you're reading for's responses, that's when you start to get in your head, because you can be a bit like, oh, they're saying no. But Spirit will never lie to you. And yes, sometimes we can get the messages through in varying degrees of, how correct it is. But when you trust and surrender to Spirit, they'll never let you down. That's
right. So that's quite an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, what have we got, Nick?
When we allow time, everything falls into place. I love that. I think that's perfect share for this time of year. It's being in allowance of things is so powerful, and I think so cool. And we sometimes forget how powerful that is.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's a tough one to do, Nick. It's a great little reminder, but geez, it's sometimes going to be bloody tough, especially when you want something. So I like it. It's a good one, Nick. Very, really good. Thanks for doing that one. What have we
Everyone
got?
share. We've got some great affirmations, but definitely share if you find or there's affirmations that really resonate with you. Share them on the feed, because you'll inspire somebody else, and that's exactly what I feel is. We want to be inspired. And there's a lot of power to that.
We'll talk about inspired. Here you go, Tonia. The one that Tash just threw up, which is really cool. We're going to talk about manifestation. In my past relationships, my confidence was always put down to a low level. Since I've been with my new partner, he's encouraged me and not fussed if I don't. So that helps. Okay. So now what I want to say was you know what, Tash, you've done something right to actually manifest this partner into your life, and you've changed something about you. So you've got a different strategy on how you attract a partner, which is congratulations to you. That shows a lot of growth, really, on so many different levels for you, Tash. You should be really proud of yourself. You've got this great new partner that is encouraging, opposed to, putting your confidence down. That's a totally different personality type, which is so well done. You know, good on you. That's a lot of hard yards paying off.
Exactly. And she, you know, Tash, you've done the work. So well done to you. Like that's, you know, that's who is around us, and we spend the most amount of time is a reflection of who we are. So you've attracted who you are, and that is, you know, somebody that is confident and encouraging. And that's so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Nick's also shared here, this is my affirmation I end with in my book, me, myself, and I. Moving energy, myself, manage yourself, enjoy life forever. I am at peace with me. That's a beautiful share, Nick.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep, absolutely. There's been some really great shares that there has been. I think this is a nice way to sign off for the end of the year, coming into the crazy holiday season. It's nice to have some really good positive affirmations coming in. I think we're going to need them through this break. For some of us, I'll tell you what, it's going to be pretty good. So I'll be taking some of them on board and using them for sure. So we're about to knock off, but let's have a look. What are we excited about wrapping up this year? Because this year hasn't finished. So let's have a look. What are we excited about? What are we looking forward to? I suppose. What are you looking forward to, Ton?
I'm looking forward to a wonderful break of switching off, and I will be on holidays and like just being in the moment. And for me, that's about really disconnecting from everything. So I will set up, you know, posting and that kind of thing under scheduled so that I don't have to be on and be able to just, take some time out. So can't wait to have a break. And then, you know, I always think have a break and a reset. And I know for me, there's been some shifts this year and there will be some changes coming into next year. And I'm excited for that. And I don't necessarily know exactly what they look like, but I'm open to what's to come.
Yeah, that's really nice. Looking forward to switching off and just hanging out. And some lovely messages coming through. Yes, Merry Christmas to you all. You got Gabrielle, you got Natasha, you got Kim on board. All saying the same. Yeah, look, I think for myself, looking forward to spending quality time with family. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Like I do our Christmas family this weekend here in Sydney. So that'll be good. And then looking forward to meeting Orla's family over in Ireland for the first time. So that's going to be really exciting. That'll be nice. So just spending quality time with some good quality people. That's what I'm really looking forward to out of anything.
When do you fly out, Tony?
Next week, Wednesday. So that's why this week's the last week of TNT. Unless you guys still want to jump on board. But I think in wrapping up, I just want to thank Tonia and everybody else in this crew, in this family of TNT Thursdays. Just want to say thank you for hanging out, being supportive. You know, I've had some difficult times this year, and you guys have all lifted me or encouraged me one way or another. And I really want to thank you for that. And also just thanks for trusting in us, I suppose, in Tonia and I, in allowing you guys just to open up your hearts and just tell us what's going on and seeing how we can assist if we can. You know, if it's not Tonia or myself, it's definitely somebody in this TNT community that can do. So guys, thank you so much. This community doesn't happen without any of you here and your contribution. So it's been an awesome year. It's been really, really super cool. And, you know, this will be what we've been doing this now for almost, is it 2 years, Tonia? Year and a half, 2 years?
Than that, I reckon. I need to go back and have a look. But
no, some of the earliest.
I reckon it will be longer, Tony. I think it might be more 3.
Yeah, geez, it's well done. Well done. I think it's really, really super cool. So, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Look, without you guys and your support, we wouldn't be, you know, hosting the show. And we really appreciate all of you and wish you an amazing Christmas and holiday time. And I hope that you get rest, support yourself, and know that we'll be back on board. End of school holidays, Tony? Probably first week of Feb, I reckon.
Yeah, it'll have to be sometime in Feb. Yeah. Let's aim for that.
Yeah.
Let's aim for
that. But we'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll shoot out a couple of Facebook things and everything like that. And so, I suppose for everybody, just have a fantastic Christmas. Use the affirmations that we've just heard from all of you, because I think we'll need them. But have a great one with your loved ones. And I look forward to connecting with all you guys in February next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Love to you all, and have a wonderful break. Take care.